Listen carefully and stay with this story until the very end, because every small moment, every mistake, and every word said between these two strangers will lead to a twist in their hearts that you will not want to miss. Chapter 1: Not Looking for Love. My name is Claire, and by the time I turned 34, I had already decided I was done with love stories. Not the fake ones on streaming platforms. I still watched those, wrapped in a blanket, judging the perfect couples with their perfect misunderstandings and perfect kisses in the rain. I was done with real love stories. The messy, confusing, painful kind that you cannot pause or rewind. I worked as a freelance editor in a crowded city that never seemed to sleep but still felt lonely at 2 a.m. My friends were slowly moving into different stages of life. Marriages, babies, promotions in shiny offices that had glass walls and free coffee. I had deadlines, frozen dinners, and a shelf full of self-help books that I never finished. It was a rainy Saturday when everything started. I was on a train, my headphones in, my hair a mess, still tasting the fake cheer from the "you should get back out there" speech my best friend Zoe had given me the night before. I had just finished a late editing job and was headed to another birthday dinner where I knew at least one person would tell me about someone perfect they wanted to set me up with. I had already planned my answers. No, I'm really busy right now. I'm kind of focusing on my work. I'm just enjoying being single. All the usual lies. I watched the gray city rush past the train window, people running with umbrellas, couples sharing coats, teenagers laughing over nothing. Somehow, I felt a step removed from all of it, like I was pressing my face to a glass wall that I could not cross. In front of me, a girl about my age was reading a small self-help book on happiness. She looked calm, put together, hopeful. I wondered what that felt like. I checked the title, and it was the exact same book Zoe had tried to give me months ago. "Just try it," Zoe had said. "It's not magic, but it helps." I never did. I leaned back, closed my eyes, and let the sound of the train fill my head. That was when my phone buzzed. A new message from Zoe. "Remember, tonight you're talking to at least one new human. No excuses." I rolled my eyes and typed back, "You're not the boss of me." But as I was putting my phone away, I felt a strange little twist in my chest. A thought that whispered, what if this is it? What if days just keep going like this, one after another, with no surprise, no new story? I did not know then that the surprise was already on its way to meet me. I did not know that one stranger, a mix-up, and a blind date that was not mine would change everything I believed about love. All I knew was that it was raining, my hair was frizzy, I was late, and I had no idea that I was heading straight toward my own impossible, ridiculous, beautiful love story. Chapter 2: The Wrong Woman. The birthday dinner was exactly what I expected. Loud, crowded, and full of couples. The restaurant was one of those trendy places with exposed brick, hanging plants, and menus that did not use normal words for simple food. Zoe hugged me the moment I walked in. "You're late," she said. "I know," I answered. The train hated me. She pulled back and looked at me with that look that meant she was planning something. "What?" I asked. "Nothing," she said too fast. "Just try to be open." I had no chance to ask what she meant, because someone handed me a drink, someone else stole my coat, and the next 10 minutes were a blur of small talk and forced laughter. After an hour, I escaped to the bathroom, took a deep breath in front of the mirror, and gave myself a silent pep talk. "You are fine. You can do this. You can survive a few hours of people being happy." When I walked back out, my phone buzzed with another message from Zoe. "Please go to the bar. No. Do not argue." I sighed and made my way through the crowd to the front bar area. That was when I saw him. He was sitting alone at the bar, tall, a little nervous, checking his phone every few seconds. He had dark hair that fell a bit over his forehead, and eyes that kept scanning the room like he was looking for someone. He looked like a man who cared about being on time, who read instructions, who tried. There was something gentle about him, even from across the room. I do not know why, but I did not turn away. Instead, I sat down on the empty stool next to him. He glanced at me, then did a double take. His face shifted from worry to relief, and he smiled, a warm, real smile that hit me like a small wave. "Hi," he said. "You must be Emma." I opened my mouth to say, "No, sorry, wrong person," but the words did not come out. Instead, I heard myself saying, "Hi." He laughed softly, like he could finally breathe again. "I thought maybe you bailed," he said. Blind dates can do that to a guy's self-esteem. And that was when I understood. He was waiting for a blind date. A woman named Emma. And he thought I was her. I could have fixed it right there. I should have. But there was something in the way he looked at me, like I was exactly who he had been searching for, that made me freeze. My heart was beating too fast. Maybe I wanted to know what it felt like to be wanted like that, even if only for a night. Maybe I was tired of being the friend in the corner, the extra in everyone else's story. My train was slow, I said, surprising myself with how easy the lie came out. "I'm sorry." His shoulders relaxed. "No problem," he said. "I'm Mark." I shook his hand. His grip was warm, steady. "Nice to meet you," I said. Inside my head, alarm bells were ringing, but they were mixed with something else too. Curiosity. Hope. We ordered drinks. We started to talk. I kept waiting for the guilt to drown me, but instead, I found myself laughing, really laughing, for the first time in months. He told me about his job in software design, how he loved making complicated things feel simple. He told me about his recent divorce, about how scary it felt to date again, to try again. "I almost canceled this," he admitted. "But my sister said, you promised to meet her. Just show up." So here I am. I looked at him, this man who was trying even though he had been hurt, and the lie inside me felt heavier. But also, the truth inside me, the lonely truth, felt less painful just by being near him. "And you?" he asked. "What made you say yes to a blind date?" I thought about all the things I could say. The made-up reasons. The easy answers. Instead, I told a partial truth. "I guess I was tired of saying no," I said. "Tired of being scared of this." He nodded slowly, eyes soft. "Me too," he said. Somewhere in the city, the real Emma was probably walking into the wrong bar, or staring at her phone confused. Somewhere, my friend Zoe was probably talking to someone about how I needed to be open, with no idea what I was doing. But right there in that moment, it was just me and Mark. Two people in a crowded bar, talking like we had known each other longer than a few minutes. And I knew deep down that this mistake was going to change everything. Chapter 3: A Night of Almosts. We left the bar when it started to get too loud to hear each other. The rain had slowed to a soft mist, and the city lights blurred against the wet pavement. "Do you want to walk for a bit?" he asked. I nodded. The idea of going back to the birthday party felt heavy, like walking back into a life I was suddenly watching from far away. We walked without a clear direction. He told me stories about his worst first dates. I told him about my strange clients, the ones who thought every comma was a personal attack. He listened, really listened, and laughed at all the right parts. Every time I looked up at him, I felt that strange twist in my chest again. At one point, we passed a small park, empty and quiet except for the sound of water dropping from the trees. We sat on a bench under a street lamp, the light soft and golden. "So," he said, turning a little toward me, "can I be honest?" I swallowed. "Please." "I was nervous about tonight," he said. Like, really nervous. I kept thinking, what if she hates me? What if there's nothing to say? What if I'm just not ready? He looked at me, eyes searching mine. "But then you walked in," he continued, and I felt calm. Like I could just be myself. The words settled over me like a warm blanket, and with them came a rush of guilt. Because he was wrong. I was not the woman he thought I was. I was not the woman he had agreed to meet. "Mark," I started, my voice low, "I need to tell you something." He leaned in slightly, listening. I opened my mouth to say it, to tell him my name, to explain the mistake, to give him back his choice. But before I could speak, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his face tightening for a second. Then he turned the screen off and slipped the phone back into his pocket. "Sorry," he said. "I'm here. I want to be here." And that was when I made the weakest, most selfish choice of my life. I did not tell him. We spent the next 2 hours walking and talking through the city. We shared small things and big things, fears and hopes, strange habits and quiet dreams. Every time I thought, this is the moment I should tell him, something inside me held back. At a small late-night diner, we shared fries and milkshakes like teenagers. He asked me what my biggest regret was. Not saying what I needed to say when I had the chance, I answered honestly. He smiled, not knowing the weight of my words. Mine too, he said. By the time we walked back toward the train station, the city had calmed down. The streets were less crowded. The rain had stopped. We stood near the entrance, under a flickering streetlight, caught in that strange, slow moment when you both know something is ending and beginning at the same time. I had a really good time tonight, he said. Me too, I whispered. He took a small step closer. Do you think we could do this again? He asked. Another date? My heart slammed against my ribs. This was it. The point of no return. I started and then I stopped. I thought about him finding out the truth later. About him feeling tricked, hurt. I thought about all the people who had lied to me. How their lies had made me doubt everything. He deserved better. So I took a breath and reached for the courage I had been missing for so long. Mark, I said. My name is not Emma. He blinked, confusion crossing his face. What? He asked slowly. My name is Claire, I said. I wasn't supposed to meet you tonight. You were waiting for someone else. I just sat down. And you thought I was her. And I didn't correct you. There. The truth was out. It hung between us, sharp and bright. His jaw tightened. He took a small step back. So you lied, he said, his voice softer now. But there was an edge in it. Yes, I said. I did. And I'm sorry. I should have told you right away, but then we started talking, and I liked you. I liked how it felt to be here with you. I know that's not an excuse, but it's the truth. He looked away, his eyes on the ground, his hands in his pockets. I don't understand, he said. Why would you do that? Because I was lonely, I said, my voice breaking. Because I'm tired of being the person who never takes a risk. Because when you smiled at me like I was exactly who you wanted to see, I didn't want to give that up. Silence stretched between us. I could hear the sound of trains in the distance, the soft hum of the city, my own heartbeat in my ears. Is she okay? He asked suddenly. The real Emma? The question surprised me. I don't know, I said. I guess she's wondering where you are. He laughed once, but there was no humor in it. This is crazy, he said. I thought we were having this real, honest night, and I cut in without thinking. At least I was. Everything I told you about my life, my work, my fears, it was all real. The only lie was my name. The way we met. He looked at me again, his eyes softer this time, but still clouded. I don't know what to do with this, he said. You don't have to do anything, I said quickly. If you want to walk away, I understand. You should. I just couldn't let you leave thinking I was someone else. You deserve to know the truth. Another pause. Another breath I did not know I was holding. Finally, he nodded once. I need some time, he said. To think. I understand, I whispered. He stepped back again, then turned and walked away, his figure slowly melting into the dark of the street. I stood there, feeling the night close in around me, empty and heavy, but also strangely clear. For the first time in a long time, I had chosen the truth. Even though it hurt. Even though it meant losing the only good surprise my love life had given me in years. I did not know if I would ever see him again. But I knew this, something inside me had shifted. And that shift was only the beginning. Chapter 4, The Message. The days after that night felt like walking through slow, heavy air. I kept waiting for the anger to come. Anger at myself for lying. Anger at him for walking away without at least trying to understand. But instead, what I felt was something quieter. Regret. And under it, a strange, small thread of hope. I told Zoe everything 2 days later, when we met for coffee. You did what? She almost shouted, loud enough for the entire cafe to hear. I shushed her, cheeks burning, and told her the whole story again, from the first moment at the bar to the last step he took away from me near the station. When I finished, she sat back and looked at me for a long time. I don't know if I want to slap you or hug you, she said finally. Both feels fair, I replied. You lied, she said. That's not okay. But you also told the truth before it was too late. That matters. I told the truth after it was already too late, I corrected. She shook her head. Maybe not, she said. Have you heard from him? No, I said. And I don't expect to. Why would he? She bit her lip, thinking. Do you know his last name? She asked. Of course not, I said. That would have made this easier. Well, I might know who he is, she said slowly. There's this guy my coworker was talking about. Divorced, nervous, agreed to a blind date she set up with her friend named Emma. It's the same night, the same bar. It has to be him. My heart started racing. And I asked. And I can get a message to him, she said. You can say what you want to say. No lies. No pretending. Just you. I thought about it. I thought about the way he had looked at me when I told him my real name. The mix of hurt and confusion and something softer I could not quite read. What if he hates me? I asked. He might, she said. But then at least you'll know. At least you'll have finished the story instead of leaving it open in your head for the next 10 years. That night, I sat at my desk with my laptop open and a blank email in front of me. I did not know his email address, but Zoe had promised to forward it through her coworker. I started typing, then deleted, then typed again. Finally, I wrote, Hi Mark. You met me as someone else. My name is Claire. You have every right to be angry with me. You trusted the person you thought you were meeting, and I took that seat in that trust without telling you the truth right away. I am sorry for that. Really, honestly sorry. But I also want you to know that everything else was real. The things I told you about my life, my work, my fears, my regrets, they were all true. You made me feel seen in a way I had not felt in a long time, and that scared me. That does not justify what I did, but maybe it helps explain it. I am not asking for a second date. I am not even asking for forgiveness. I just did not want our story to stay stuck at the worst moment. I wanted you to know that, for me, that night mattered. You mattered. If you never want to see me again, I understand. If by any chance you ever feel like continuing the conversation, this time with full honesty, I would like that. But that choice is completely yours. Either way, I hope you find someone who shows up for you, truthfully, on purpose, and on time. Take care. Claire. I sent it before I could change my mind. Then I did what I do best. I waited, trying not to expect anything. A day passed. Then 2. Then 3. On the 4th day, while I was halfway through editing a long, boring report, an email popped up with a subject line that made my heart stop. That night. It was from him. My hands shook as I clicked it open. Hi Claire. Thank you for writing. When I first read your email, I was still angry. Not just at you, but at the whole idea of dating again. It felt like proof that I was stupid to try. I had trusted a process I did not even believe in, and it blew up. But then I remembered the way it felt to talk to you. How easy it was. How honest it seemed. I remembered the way you chose to tell me the truth, even though you knew it might end everything. I spoke to the real Emma. She had gone to the wrong bar that night, left early, and honestly, she was more relieved than upset. She said blind dates are always a gamble. So here is where I am now. I am still confused. I am still not sure what the right thing is. But I also know that our conversation was one of the best I've had in a long time. If you are still open to it, I would like to meet you again. This time on purpose. This time as Claire and Mark. No lies. No pretending. If you are not, I understand. But if you are, how about coffee? Mark. I read it 3 times, then once more aloud, just to hear the words outside my head. He wanted to see me again. Not as Emma. As me. I stared at the blinking cursor, feeling something warm and bright slowly spread through my chest. Maybe some stories do not end where you think they will. Maybe some stories pause, breathe, and then find a new way to continue. I started typing. Yes. Coffee sounds perfect. Chapter 5, Choosing Each Other. We picked a neutral place this time. A quiet coffee shop on a corner I had passed 100 times but never really noticed. It had big windows, soft music, and the kind of chairs that make you want to stay longer than your drink lasts. I arrived early, of course. My stomach felt like it was full of small, nervous birds. I checked the door every few seconds, convinced he had changed his mind on the way over. But then he walked in. He looked almost exactly like he did that first night. Same dark hair, same careful eyes. The difference was in the way he looked at me. There was no mistake this time. He knew who I was. "Hi," he said, a little out of breath, like he had been walking fast. "Hi," I said back. For a moment, we just stood there, smiling in that shy, uncertain way that belongs to people who are trying again after getting hurt. We ordered coffee and found a small table by the window. The silence that followed was not as heavy as I feared it would be. It was open. "So," he said finally. "Claire." Hearing my own name from his lips made something inside me relax. "Yes," I said. "That's me. No secret identities today." He smiled. "Good," he said. I don't think I could handle another plot twist. We talked about everything that had happened since that night. He told me about how confused he had felt reading my email, how he had almost deleted it. I told him about the way I had replayed our conversation in my head, wondering what would have happened if I had told the truth at the bar. "You know what I realized?" he said at one point. "The way we met was wrong, but the way we connected, that felt right. And I don't want to throw that away just because the beginning was messy. I don't want to throw it away either," I said quietly. He took a slow breath. "I can't promise that I'll never feel weird about it," he said. "I'm still getting used to the idea that the woman I met that night is not the woman I was supposed to meet. But maybe that's the point. Maybe I met the woman I was meant to meet, not the one I was scheduled to meet." His words settled deep inside me, like they had been waiting for a place to land. "I can work with weird," I said. "I've been weird most of my life." We both laughed, and some of the tension melted away. The conversation shifted to lighter things. Movies we loved. Books that had stayed with us. The strange comfort of watching the same show over and over. He told me he had watched Man Up, 2015, once after his divorce and had thought it was sweet but unrealistic. I remember thinking, stuff like that doesn't happen in real life, he said. And now here we are. Real life is stranger than movies, I said. And more awkward. Definitely more awkward, he agreed. Hours passed without us noticing. The coffee shop changed from late morning light to golden afternoon. People came and went. We stayed. At one point, he grew serious again. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "Of course." "If you could go back to that night," he asked, "to the moment I said, 'You must be Emma,' would you do it differently?" I thought about it. Really thought. "Yes," I said. "I would tell you my real name right away. I would accept that if you walked out, that would be your choice. I would not take that choice from you." He nodded slowly. "That's what I needed to hear," he said. "What about you?" I asked. "Would you do anything differently?" He hesitated, then shook his head. "No," he said. "Because if you had told me the truth right away, maybe I would have been too shocked or too stuck in my own roles to stay. Maybe I would have walked out. And then I would have missed this." He gestured around us, but I knew he meant more than the coffee shop. "I don't like how we got here," he said. "But I like where we are. And I want to see where we can go." I smiled, feeling that warm, bright thing in my chest grow. "Me too," I said. Outside, the sky had turned soft and pink. Inside, the air felt calm, almost gentle. As we got up to leave, he reached for my hand. It was a small gesture, simple and clear, but it felt huge. "Claire," he said. "Yes." This time he said, "Can we call this what it is?" "And what is it?" I asked, even though I already knew. "A first date," he said. "A real one." I squeezed his hand. "Yes," I said. "A real first date." We walked out into the evening, side by side, our fingers still linked, the city stretching around us in all directions, full of possibilities. And for the first time in a very long time, I was not afraid of the story I was in. I was not watching from behind the glass. I was inside it, living it, step by step, mistake by mistake, truth by truth. This was not a perfect romantic comedy. It was not neat or simple. It started with a lie and moved slowly toward honesty, with two people who had been hurt but chose to try again. But it was ours. And as we walked down that busy street, hands together, I realized that sometimes the best love stories are the ones that begin when you finally decide to show up as yourself. No mask, no script, just a heart willing to take one more chance. If you enjoyed this modern love story inspired by Man Up 2015, make sure to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications so you do not miss the next tale, give a like to this video, leave a comment sharing your favorite moment, and share this video with someone who loves a good, honest romance.